정체가 뭐야? But you 그래서 혼자는 나가 못해 crew.
I think I like you. As she said, he stopped the car aside and looked at her in disbelief. She avoids eye contact with him. What? He asked her in disbelief. She tucked her head behind her ear, being awkward and embarrassed, but still managed to say, "You heard it right. I like you." He kept a dun face. "You're joking, aren't you?" She shrugged her shoulders. "Do you think I'm a clone to joke everywhere?" She said with a dun face. "Jungkook, are you being serious right now?" "Why, yeah, I'm saying true." "Jungkook, we are going home. No more talking." She opened her mouth in disbelief like she just confessed it. "Why, are you literally? Do you realize I'm confessing my feelings?" "Jungkook, but you can't love me." Why can't I?" "Jungkook, I'm just your bodyguard." So aren't you a human?" He kept a dun face. "Jungkook, I didn't mean it. It's different. You can't." I can't." "Jungkook, you can't. A bodyguard can't date his client." Don't talk about rules." "Jungkook, now we are really going home," he said, trying to hide his blush, which was clearly visible on his face. Do you have feelings for me?" "Jungkook, put your seatbelt on." She shooted glares at him while he was looking at the road. "Stupid idiot." She mumbled, crossing her arms, looking away outside the window with a poker face. He still gazes at her and smiles silently without her notice. He loves her secretly. Time skip. Next day at university. He stopped the car in front of her university. "We are here," he said without looking at her, his sunglasses on. She was crossing her arms the whole ride with a poker face. She looked out and opened the door to get out, but before going out, she again sat on the seat and turned to him. "Do you really don't have any feelings for me?" she asked with a poker face. She looks like she's gonna throw hands at him if he said no. "You are getting late," he said, ignoring her words. She aggressively got down off the car, grabbing her bag in her hand and leaving with aggressive step. He chuckles looking at her leaving. He finds her cute being mad at him. Cute. He mummed before giving a last glance and leaving the place. While everyone was focused on class, she was looking out of window, but there was no one. She kept a boring face and drawing pictures in her book. She draws a stick man with muscle and a girl with pretty hair. She wrote his and her name. Stupid Jungkook. She wrote his and her name. She smiled looking at the stick man she drew, but her smiley face turned into a poker one as she realized how cold he was when she confessed. She then started ruining the stick man, mumbling stupid, stupid, stupid. Her professor raised his eyebrows when he saw her face buried in her book, while her pen is moving in her hand. He kept a dun face. "Miss Shin," he called her, making the whole class look at her. She quickly stood up. "Yes, Professor Jin." "Jin, what are you doing during my class?" Professor, I was just doing nothing," she said, smiling awkwardly, while Taeyong beside her grabbed the book. "Jin, focus on class, Miss Shin." Hands on hips. Yes, Professor," she said, and he gave note telling her to sit down. After she said, she noticed that there was no book on her desk. She frowned her eyebrows, searching for it, but then she looked at her right side. Jenny, Taeyong, and Jimin sminked at her, and she saw the book between them in their hands. She looked away, trying to ignore eye contact. She shrugged her shoulders, mouthing, "What?" They three sminked and mouthed, "Gotcha!" She rolled her eyes and looked away while her ears were red in embarrassment. After class at corridor. "So, since when it is happening behind our back?" Jenny asked her, running her arms around Vian's shoulders. "What do you mean?" Vian asked her with a confused face, and that's when Jimmy rounded his arms around her shoulder from the other side. "Come on, we got to know everything now." Jimin said, shrinking. Vian kept a done face when she realized what they mean. That's when Taeyong, who was walking beside her, frowned his eyebrows. "Spit the tea now. What happened?" Taeyong said, and three of them looked at her, waiting for her answer. She looked between three of them and sighed. "Jenny, what's wrong with the sign? Do you guys break up already?" "Jimin, or did he already have someone?" "Taeyong, just open your mouth already." They said. "Nothing happened, guys, chill," she said with a lazy face. They frowned their eyebrows. "Jimin, what do you mean by nothing happened?" "Why, I confessed to him that maybe I like him." Three of them whined. "What, really?" "Jenny, then what did he say? He must be so happy." "Jimin, he must have gone crazy and reached the heaven." "Taeyong, what did he say?" Vian sighed. "Nothing. He said you're joking, aren't you?" "Jenny, what?" "Jimin, what the fish?" "Taeyong, what, really?" "Vian, he just ignored it, saying we're going home. You're not talking." "Jimin, that bastard." "Jenny, calm down, shorty. But why did he say that? Any reason?" "Taeyong, does he have a girlfriend?" Vian nodded as no. "He's single, but he said, 'I'm your bodyguard, you can't like me.' He's so annoying." "Jenny, dude, I know he was cold, but this much?" "Jimin, I mean, how can he ignore this cutie proposal?" "Jenny, what?" "Jimin, nothing, honey. I mean, look at her. Who will ignore her?" "Taeyong, so that mean he rejected you?" "Vian, I don't know, Taeyong. Maybe he's just teasing you. Don't give up until he confesses back, or until he rejects you properly, cause we'll never know." "Jimin, since when did Taeyong take my position in FS?" "Taeyong, shut up." "Vian, so you mean he's just shy or not ready to confess it?" "Taeyong, maybe. I'm sure he likes you." "Jimin, yeah, even Jenny had a boyfriend, which is me, so why can't you?" "Jenny, what do you mean?" "Jimin, I mean you and Vian have same personality, so if I can handle you, then he can handle Vian too." "Jenny, not a satisfying answer, but it's okay." "Taeyong, you forget you're stubborn and get what you want, right?" Vian smink. "Yes, you're right. I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna get him." "Jimin, that's my girl." "Jenny, that's the spirit." Taeyong chuckles. "You're back to real Vian now." "Vian, now let me show him who is the boss here." She flipped her hair, walking outside. Vian walked front sassily while her friends at back looking proud at her. Dramatic music plays in the background. She walked towards the car which he was leaning against, keeping his hands in his pocket. As she saw her approaching him, walking Cecily wearing her sunglasses, he pushed himself off the car and walked to her. He was about to grab her bag. "I can grab my bag by myself," she said, walking to the passenger seat and opening the car door. He frowned his eyebrows looking at her, but then he sat on the driver's seat. She took off the glasses and kept it on her back. He asked her without looking at her. "Drive to home?" Drive to the park. I wanna grab some fresh air." "Okay," he said without looking at her before driving to the park. "Here's your ice cream," he said, handing her ice cream which she told him to bring. "Wine, thank you. Do you want some?" Jungkook, "No, I'm fine." "Wine, oops, you can't. You're just a bodyguard, right?" He raised his eyebrows when she said with an unbothered face. She stood up from the bench and started to walk while eating her ice cream. He walked behind her. She then turned back and said, 4 steps away. Walk 4 steps away. Jungkook, why? He frowned his eyebrows. Fine, you're just a bodyguard, right? So we should behave like one. He scoffed, looking away, keeping a done face, taking 4 steps back. As she walked in front, a cat suddenly approached her, rubbing its face to her leg. She looked down at the cat and sat on her foot. Vine, hey kitty kitty, she said, patting the cat head. Vine is a cat person and she loves to play with them. But that's when a man with a handsome face and almost Jungkook had walked towards the cat. Me, you're here, he said, looking down at the cat. Vine lifted her head to look at him, his eyes slightly widened as he saw her. Vine? He said, looking at her. She stood up, holding the cat in her hand and smiled at him. Hey, Hanul. Hanul smiled back. Hanul, sorry, did my cat disturb you? Why, no, I love cats. This is yours? He nodded. It's cute, she handed him. Hanul, thanks. Me always escape from me. She's troublemaker. Why, her name is Me? He nodded. She patted the cat. Jungkook frowned his eyebrows listening to their conversation. He didn't care, but he somehow felt bothered or maybe jealous. He had a cold and straight, expressionless face. Hanul, what are you doing here? Before Hanul completed his sentence, Jungkook walked front, standing between them. Hanul frowned his eyebrows and kept a confused face. Hanul, who are you? Jungkook, her bodyguard, he said, looking coldly at Hanul. Wine, well, Jungkook, Hanul is my classmate, so don't worry. Move back, you're embarrassing me, she mumbled from behind him. As he heard, he moved back with a cold face. Jungkook, fine, he mumbled back. Wine, I just came here for a walk. What about you? Hanul, I also came for a walk with me, but she ran away. He chuckles and she smiled with him, which Jungkook absolutely didn't like it but stayed calm as usual. Hanul, okay then let's meet Wine another time, he said, making cat waves by holding her paw. Wine, so cute. Bye Kitty me and bye Hanul. Hanul, bye, let's meet tomorrow in class. Wine, yeah, she waved. He walked away with his cat. Wine, isn't he handsome? Jungkook, I am more handsome, expressionless cold face. Wine, who cares? You're just a bodyguard. He scoffed while she walked front eating her ice cream laughing silently.